welcome to the Friendlyjordies podcast.
Okay.
Miss Love is going to show you a special trick. Wait, let me put the camera on first.
He's exhaling.
He's exhaling.
Look at him go. It's like one of those smoking monkeys that Lionel Hutz gives out.
What about this, Miss?
I got a head rush.
Oh, that was even
He's
sicker.
breathing. You can breathe out too.
So this is going to be a really informative podcast. It's going to be these two trying to blow rings.
We're not going to do it anymore.
Yes, we are. Hey,
don't lie.
It's not over yet. At the end of this pod, this is going up someone's member.
And I think we all know who that is. And look at you, Alan.
Please me. It's the perfect shape. Okay.
How are you all?
Just going to put it up there, come out.
How's everyone going?
Banana peel.
That's okay. Enough of the banana. Everyone's going great. Let's move to our first topic. Everyone's been extremely excited to hear about this, Jordan.
Give me that.
What has life post Bruz the Eternal been like for you?
I've been really sleepy. I don't really look at my socials, but everybody is saying, man, it's going off. Everyone's talking about it. But you just expect this after a while. You know what I've realised? I'm so tired of reactions, whether they're positive or negative. Yeah. Just after a while, it's just the same thing over and over. That was mad. Oh, you went too far on that one. I don't know if I agree with you on this one, Jordies. So, look, I'm here to say, I don't read your comments.
Dude, you got to pay the man.
That's a bit harsh.
No, but you got to pay the man.
No, I understand. Look, we both of us know his life really well, and we know how. In order to be sane, you have to do it.
It's just funny that it's like how many variety of reactions can you elicit, and it's like those are the only reasonable ones. But it's just like, okay, what's your personal opinion? You thought it was good, but you went a bit far. Okay, what about yours? You thought it was good, but I went a bit even further. Okay, what's yours? You think I didn't go too far? Okay, what's yours? Just thought it was good? Okay. Oh, maybe too far. Oh, look, I'll get back to you to see if you thought it was too far. What do you think? It was good, not too far? No, it wasn't too far. What do you know what I mean? Like, it's...
Yeah.
It's
Having
all
said
objective.
that, the one comment that I cared about was Isaac. But, see, I was on the news, didn't care what their response was. I assumed that it was, is Jodie McKay distancing herself from Friendlyjordies? Is Channel 9 being mean to Gladys Berejiklian? And no. I assumed that was theirs. The only one that I actually cared about was the real news, which was the Butchman sending me a text going, that was fucking mad, George.
Oh, God.
Dude, why all the hate for that man?
Yeah, Butfield is also a mad cunt.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
There's a real guy getting to the bottom of things. I don't know what his most recent thing was. Something about like, what's all this gay time shit? What the fuck? Why are you tuning into my exclusive coverage of the Deputy Premier's corruption? That's the real corruption. But I don't know.
I've got a question. I know. I'll guide it to this. Is there any part of you that's scared
of what's happening next?
Yep.
No, because
even a little bit.
I'm scared that he's not going to sue. Because, man, you know what suing is? Just more of these ball keychains getting circulated.
Which, by the way, available at friendlyjordies.com. Interesting story about
How
this.
offended would you be? Ali, come on. If someone just made a keychain of you with some testicles,
I think it'd be...
would that give you the shits?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd be like, I've made it.
Yeah, I'd like
You reckon? You'd be into this.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'd be like, come on, you have to...
It's pretty offensive.
It is, but you have to just take it. You just have to be like, it's a joke, and it's a funny joke. I'll take it.
See, this is the thing that no one was paying. What I hear in the news, really, the 6 o'clock news segment should have been that. Don't you think? Just putting that on air for 5 minutes straight. No commentary, just circling it over and over again.
What do you mean, a video?
By the way, according to Jordan, and this is a true story, because I got the keychains and the designs made or whatever, Jordan was of the firm belief that these keychains are worth so much more than they are. And
I thought we were getting fleeced.
look, the fact of the matter is these keychains do exist because we are scared that we're gonna have to fork up thousands and thousands of dollars in legal fee. So you understand why they're overpriced, but at the same time,
that.
Yeah, it's a piece of memorabilia. It's
it's
just
for-
a fund. It's pretty much just a token saying that you're supporting the cause of one of the richest men in Australia suing me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm a bit late in the party of the company I work in, but I'm now I get it.
I was explaining the neck beard.
nonetheless,
How does that explain the neck beard? Doesn't that mean I'd be like on
It's just
4chan?
so amazing that I haven't seen you for 10 days and your first response was, why didn't you tell me that I've got a neck beard? I really don't know how to answer that because
think
that's
long
how
and hard.
space-time continuum works. I'm not the same as you. I don't have extrasensory powers. I know that if I grew a neck beard, you would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, maybe think about shaving it.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is I'm pissed off that I can grow a neck beard. It's like, fuck you, God, if there is a God.
why are you pissed? Do you know a lot of people get like hair transplant on their beards because they want to have a thicker beard?
No.
Yeah, but not on their neck.
Yeah, not on their neck. Can you imagine? Just on the neck. Like, yeah.
Yuck. This is all shame. All right, let's do that.
No.
If we get...
No.
Yeah. If we get to, say, a 99%
Why did I bring it up?
in a vote saying, should Miss Love shave all of his facial hair except for the neck, we'll go to a short break. We'll make him shave it. He can come back.
We don't even have shearers. This shit's not going to come off with the fucking... That's not... Look.
But what if we have 10 razors? Because I did go away for a while. I've got a lot of really shit beats.
Listen. This is what we'll do. I will. If that... This is the olive branch.
Please.
The olive branch is
Yeah.
I'll wait till next week and then bring his shaver and then I can shave this
do it
one
now.
off.
No, yeah.
No, I'm not doing that. There's no way. I'll
Please.
cut my No, it's I've tried to do it with the beard and it's like it's not going to happen. It's like long, painful. No.
So you'll come back and you'll have a bunch of pieces of tissue paper on your face?
Yes.
Where's the downside?
It hurts for me, not for you.
Yeah, but you got to suffer for your art.
Yeah, I thought you
And
were a
let's be honest,
Christian.
that is your art. Dumb radio prank.
Yes, but I don't want to suffer that much. Suffering through success, I have my limits.
You're really letting what I assumed was your occupation in life, which is musician / prank monkey.
Everyone's saying next love, please.
Next love!
Look,
Nextmas's come early.
what do you think about Richard Nixon?
We'll be getting to that later.
No, we won't. We're getting
Don't
to it
change
now.
the subject.
We're getting
All
to
right,
it
wait,
now.
bring it back.
I suppose we have changed the subject.
We
for
have
Christ.
changed the subject, but let's bring it back. What do you think about? We did read the Australian article on the video. What do you think of the mainstream media's take on the suing issue?
Well, as I'm constantly pointing out, I'm glad that Kevin Rudd is sticking it to Murdoch, but someone has to stick it to Nine Fairfax. This is my new go-to line about them. It's the evil of the Murdoch Empire combined with the cuntiness of the ABC. What's to like?
Wait a sec.
And
Isn't it... Wait. No, that's The Guardian, right? That's The Guardian and Fairfax are different things, correct?
yeah.
Okay, just
all
checking.
right.
Yeah. Because The
Isn't
Guardian...
it scary that you are one of the most knowledgeable people about how the press works in the country?
Not scary to me, but probably to the rest of the population. But The Guardian...
He has said nothing incorrect so far, so...
Bullshit.
Well, The Guardian is separate to Nine Fairfax.
Oh, okay,
as
cool.
you so succinctly
Yeah, I'm
pointed
just,
out.
I'm just putting
But the media reaction.
Continue your line of thought.
This is really a news podcast.
Jumping in there because I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, I don't think Jordan would necessarily tear down The Guardian. So I'm just clearing that up.
He should. Except for a few people that write for The Guardian.
Well, the fact that it's Malcolm Turnbull's favourite paper, it should say something.
Well, Turnbull...
Jesus, are you serious?
You're
Isn't
joking.
it amazing that even though Nine Fairfax pretty much should just be called the Turnbull Simp Channel, even he reads it and is just like, bit crap. wants to read The Guardian instead.
I think
he doesn't even agree with The Guardian.
I think that Turnbull's doing a sort of like, he's doing a sort of like flip.
180.
Yeah, he's doing a 180 of just being like, I want people to like me, so I'm gonna just talk about climate change a bit. And it's like, it's just like, dude, it's fucking lame, It's like you had a chance whilst you were in power, and to just sort of jump on this bandwagon now is weak and lame, and
and proves everything that the Murdoch press says about him, which is that he is secretly a Labor Prime Minister.
Yeah, right. I mean, look, I think it's.
I do think that they're apt on that.
Well, why couldn't he just be like an openly Labour Prime Minister and join the Labour Party? No one can why?
I don't
why
know
does
why.
no one care about that? That he is such a spineless man that he chose a party based, I'm guessing, on a flip of a coin.
I don't think it was a flip of a coin. I thought he just looked at the trajectory and realised, I could be in the Labour Party and be permanent opposition, or I could get my name in the history books that people will glean over to until there's an actual substantive Prime Minister. But my CV will look even more impressive than it already does.
Yeah.
You're 65. What job do you want?
I have to ask though, like with the with the whole suing thing. Again, I'm late to the party. I know I work here, but I'm late to the party.
Because you haven't seen the video.
I haven't seen the video yet. But what I wanted.
So obviously his commentary is the most important.
But no, I wanted to ask. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but the lawsuit bomb was dropped ages ago to us. So surely, you personally, for us, the sort of like
Don't
hysteria
hysteria
and steam of the situation is not as poignant as it is for the rest of the people. Because I got a few calls from people today, like, "Oh my god!" I'm just like, "What?" And that's old news. Yeah, I gotta go, man. God damn.
So good. And then us today just be like, such a tough day. Had udon noodles, went to the sauna, and now you're dropping this on me. That is,
I'm trying to relax here.
This is how I genuinely found out about the letter. I was here maybe however many weeks
was ages ago,
months ago, whatever. And I kept my tea on top of a paper.
Yeah, that's right.
And I looked at it if it's an important paper, and I was like,
And I wrote
"Hey, Jordan, are you aware of this?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. He's suing us." I was like, All right, anyways, what else is going on?
And then I proceeded to write the tracking
that
number.
explains the coffee stain mug.
They thought it was blood. Everyone thought it was blood, and it was
Me
like, no,
too.
it's
I
coffee.
thought it was.
It wasn't blood.
So I remember my nose bleeding and being like, "Uh-oh, this is going to get worse." Before it gets better.
But hey, Ali, I think you're overlooking the fact that I wrote the tracking number for my guitar pedal on there.
Yeah, that's right. And then ripped a piece out of the front page of it so that he could write down a number when he missed the number that he was supposed to get for his guitar pedal.
That's how much
Isn't that great? So I went to it came from South Australia, went back, he wrote that down, being like, "Okay, can't miss this. I'll put it on an important piece of paper to recognise how important it is. Oh, I miss it. Okay, well, I don't see any other way out of this. I'm going to have to desecrate this piece of paper, despite the fact we're in an office. There's many pieces of paper here."
It was the closest piece. But it really goes to show how much we give a shit about like huge things.
But you know what? I remember telling him, "Jordan, you should give a little bit more of a shit about this than
I remember
you
that
currently
too.
are."
I remember that too, but like,
Because look,
And that was my lawyer's advice as well. Duly noted to both of you.
dude, we suck. We okay. All I'm trying to point out is to everybody watching, because you guys are sort of like, you're not fair weather fans. We're just as funny in real life. We're not pretending. We don't go like shut the cameras off and be like, "All right, optics and lawyers and looking at the deep side of optics and all the angles of lawsuits and what could happen." No, I write my guitar pedal number on it.
Yeah, and then we go into, okay, overdrive. What will piss John Barraro off the most? All right, we'll wait for a public venue, and then I'll dress up as a female Super Luigi, and I'll start yelling obscenities at him, and then Christo will just not fuck off when all of the other guards just jumped on me and pushed me out.
That is assault.
So there was no one left except for some Neanderthal that was just like, "Poosh. Well, that was plan A. What have I got left? Go away.
Let's not forget
also, like-
nationals taking selfies with you.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And
Isn't that amazing?
Wearing the fucking merch.
I don't think they were
Yeah.
nationals.
No, they were nationals because we talked to one of them. For some reason, there was a guy that was there that met us when we were going up to Queensland. Christo and I were flying up. He was there on the night and he gave us an inside scoop of what happened after we got booted out, after the guards figured out that Christo was still there annoying him and they dragged him away as well. This guy said that John Barraro just got the mic up. I was like, fuck, what a dick. I mean, hasn't this guy ever heard of Menace? Jesus. Fucking such a rude cunt. Just went off for like the next half hour while he was supposed to be there doing his stock standard speech of, yeah, I think climate change is happening. I just don't think it's going to be happening now. Relax. So it got him off of that. And this guy was telling us, the loyal diehard fans that were there, that you definitely, it says everything you need to know that when I'm there at a speech that John Barraro is the keynote speaker and I crashed it, everyone's cheering for me.
Bizarre, yeah.
They come out afterwards and they want to take selfies with me, except for a few Cro-Magnons that clearly want to get a seat in New South Wales Nats at some point. Everyone else was cheering for me. And then I said, why is that happening? And he said, because the only reason anyone joins the Young Nationals is because there's a bar tab.
Respect. I mean, that's the only reason. I respect that.
Of course, the muso goes respect.
Go be a member.
Hey, I care about regional Australia too. I should join.
You do? Don't you reckon? You know what else is really scary? He was saying that when they were asking questions about, what about this regional rail line that you promised? Where's that? John Barraro's stock standard response to anything about infrastructure, environment, education or health is, that's Labor stuff. Shut the fuck up. Oh, what am I, the Labor Party? Why are you asking me about trains?
So what's he interested in?
I think he's interested
He wants to be a
in
chef.
getting more fucking money for himself.
Allegedly.
I don't think he has, allegedly, I don't know, but he defers all of the governing things to the opposition party and says, well, why don't you ask them? Because they're in opposition, dude, and you're the guy that's supposed to sign off on these things. Yeah. And I don't think that he understands that. I was talking to another person that was saying that they had to sit next to John Barraro in a conference. And I said, what is he like? And he said, dumb as fuck. Because he was saying the same things. Every time they said, what's your plan for New South Wales? He'd stare at them with a blank face. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the second most powerful man in the state, making all the decisions. A man that is physically incapable of making decisions.
Just a thought. Can we get sued as well?
Can we get sued as well? No.
Oh.
Yeah, you haven't said anything. Both of you are just nervously glancing around while I'm sitting
With
here
a gavel.
with a mad gavel.
Guilty. Put him to the gallows.
But it would
Despite
affect.
the
It could
fact that
affect
we
us.
have gavels in this studio as well, just using a mallet. Like, yeah, old school Friendlyjordies, whatever works.
Yeah, but what do you mean it could affect us? Why?
in different ways.
We get a bad
Look, let's
rap.
assume in this crazy world, Barraro wins the defamation case. They'll put a amount of money that Jordan has to pay. Jordan doesn't have any assets. So they'll say all the profits from the enterprises would go to us, which includes our livelihoods.
Oh, gotcha.
So you
But
two will
we
be
could
working
argue.
for John Barraro.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great as part of the settlement? He just comes in every week and does the pod with you guys.
Oh
That'd be
my
sick.
God.
So the Queen's dead, huh? Oh, that's sad. She was a nice lady. Hey, that picture of me is a bit crooked.
Yeah. Okay, it's time for the Barraro cooking hour. Pork chops this week. Fuck, I'd be into it.
Yeah, that's a great pod.
Yeah, I'd just be like,
I like that idea.
I'll make the au jus, mate. I brought the wine.
But they replace Ali as the brains of the group with that Neanderthal saying, leave us alone. So you're just hanging out with those two? And let's be honest, you would prefer it.
Yeah.
Hey, I like my new friends.
Yeah, it's true. Fuck.
All right,
Yeah, look, in summary, all I'll say is that I think what's new, that guy's a moron, which is why you're suing a comedian with no assets. It's amazing. It's just like a content generator. The smart thing to do was to just pretend that I don't exist.
Yeah.
Now, that genie is out of the bottle. I can't advise you any further at this point, and I think that I'm giving you the best advice out of your entire legal team that just want to make money and are trying to get somebody who has no money sued.
So is this
What happens at that point? It'll just be like John Barraro versus a stone that has no blood.
So is this the same scenario? Again, I know I work here, but is this the same scenario as Clive? Is it just verbatim the same in regards to?
No, I think
the what's the word I'm looking for?
The legal repercussions?
What they're suggesting you've done. Like, is it just going to play out the same way? The accusations.
Yeah, it's the same exact kind of case.
So it's
the
same
accusations,
accusations,
but dumber because it's John Barraro instead of Clive.
because with Clive, it just fell through where it's like, no, it's not defamation. Right?
Yeah.
No, it didn't go through that. It's just that the other thing is, first of all, like defamation legislation has a very specific satire clause that if it's a satire, it's not defamation.
Yeah.
Which is essentially all of Friendlyjordies' enterprise is satire.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, imagine you go into a courtroom. On one hand, you have one of the most powerful, one of the richest people in the country who hold public office, get paid by taxpayer money by people like us, suing a comedian that's talking about special extinction. Do you think that's going to go down well with the judge? My guess is the judge will be sympathetic towards Jordan.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Unless it's an extremely serious allegation that is completely unfounded, not based on satire, but a genuine thing. The thing is, like...
And let's be honest, I'm going to push for a jury. I'm not going to leave it to a judge.
Right.
So I'll have 12 random members of the public saying, hey, do you think it's a good idea that this man brags about his corrupt dealings, brags about deliberately propping up electorates that favour him? Do you like that? Do you like the fact that this guy doesn't care or seem to understand that he is responsible for 1,000 species on the endangered list? Do you think that that's a responsible thing? I suppose, you know what it really... I should just walk in with dressed as the Joker and be like,
Empty your pockets, Mr. Shanks. One thing of flint, a pocket knife, a single Joker card. Let's be honest, he is the fucking Joker. He is. Heath Ledger.
And yeah, look, at the end of the day, with very limited understanding of defamation lawsuits from my end, if someone was to put odds onto who's going to win this case based on the facts, I would give 90% to Jordan, 10% to Barraro.
And we were looking at the defenses for defamation. All of them are in my favour. Satirist, honest opinion. It is my honest opinion that he's a stupid fat idiot. I genuinely do think that. I know that's shocking.
Yeah.
I know it might not even be grammatically correct, which is hilarious that he is suing me for something that, like, he's not even pointing out how dumb the insult is to begin with. He's genuinely offended by that. And I will also be pointing out in the lawsuit that any time there was a fact, the fact was extremely damning on him that he didn't seem to understand it was, and he got a lot of those facts wrong, misrepresented any of that, didn't spell Labor correctly, meaning that not only does he defer everything to the opposition when it comes to rail, he did that. But the thing that he did get correct was every one of my insults to him. So really, all he cares about is that someone was calling him names. And he's sitting around saying, What do you mean? I'm allowed to make as much money as I like and fuck over an entire ecosystems, not just one, all of them. And you're not allowed to be mean to me, okay? Is that the law? Is that the society we live in?
Shit.
Because it's sick.
which is a perfectly fair opinion to have. But
everyone goes crazy. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
it's a fair opinion to have if you're not in public service. You can't be a person that's responsible for the livelihoods of the most populous state in the country and then be sensitive. It's like being a celebrity and then being mad at the fact that there's paparazzi outside, you know?
It's really strange. If you wanted to be liked, and truth be told, on a personal level, I do like John Barraro a lot because every time I look at him, I think, Yilmaz. Yilmaz if he was deputy premier.
Pretty much.
Don't you reckon?
Yeah.
But it's just like, dude, just be a TikToker, be a YouTuber. Don't be in charge of a state.
Yeah, he should just
That's
do
a
his-
crime. Like, you're an idiot, and you would be very famous and loved if you were just Spaniard 2.0.
Or just do a
being
cooking
like,
show.
yeah, okay, rural logic. Say you want to buy a giant mansion, but you don't have enough money for the mansion. You should get some favors. Sorry, yeah.
What if the judge is a lib plant and the judge is just a fucking paid off by the Nats and the libs and they put you away, they do you in?
Which would be extremely likely, which is definitely why we would be going to a jury.
Well, that's not up
but
to
the
you.
other thing is, I stand by.
You can review cases.
That's not up to you though.
I don't think...
To the jury? Yeah, that's up to me.
What?
Well, I get to determine if I wanted to go to a
I
judge
don't
or a
even
jury.
know you could have a jury in defamation cases, but I might be wrong about that.
Shit.
Well, I don't know. It's just that's what my defo lawyer was saying.
Yeah, well, if
Definitely
he's
be
saying it,
taking
then
this to
you
jury,
could. Yeah,
and we
yeah,
will just be wheeling out that video of me being like, his face is on some nuts. So the jury sits there, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's
they're
no
just
way
going to
they'll
laugh it out
convict
of
you.
court. But the
Plus,
main
yeah.
takeaway is, look, even if I do get sued for every penny that I have, I don't care.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
your-
my
that's your style.
overarching, most angry point, as always, is the press. I expect John to be an idiot. And I find that kind of just fun, interesting fodder to attack. And I think that we've done enough to, draw attention to how bad the Nationals are, particularly on a state level. The thing that angers me so much more is all of these journalists that know he's bad and will protect him to earn money.
Yeah.
And the best defense that they have, the thing that they say to make themselves sound good, is that we don't want to be sued, despite the fact that they have defamation insurance. So that's worth these going extinct. Yeah.
Fuck.
Arbitrary figures in bank accounts that don't really exist. It's just there on a computer screen, and you don't want to see that number go lower. And that's you being a good person.
And if any of the Barraros...
That's so, and also attacking the guy that actually has the balls to say you're a bad person for making animals go extinct. Instead of attacking the guy making them go extinct, attacking the guy doing that because they don't like the fact that he dressed up in a Luigi costume. Such evil people for $1.
Yeah, that's you really can't,
But
it's serious shit. You can't, it's sad and the man's right.
I think I want to make you realize is they're wired differently to you. Like when Jordan says this, I don't care about every penny. I can assure you, he does not. Like
He's been poor a lot longer.
No, it's not that he doesn't like having money or the idea of being able to have money.
He doesn't.
But
He doesn't need money.
he's not motivated by it a single bit.
No.
In fact, out of the three of us, the commie is probably the most motivated by it.
How crazy is that? The guy wearing red and the libertarian's just like, lentil is anything, you pay whatever you want.
But to be fair, if anyone's motivated by money, Friendlyjordies is not the place,
No.
So everyone in the staff of Friendlyjordies is not strictly motivated by money.
No
But these
way.
guys find, like the journalists that you're referring to, they find value in themselves. Like you find value in the fact that you have made the world a slightly better place, that you are exposing certain dodgy dealings that need to be exposed. That's what.
Let's be
makes
real. He
you
cares.
think-
Eco-fascist. He cares about the environment and sustainability.
Yeah, the fact that
and
if that one extra
Shot people in
frog,
bed by 10.
yeah.
if that one extra frog survives, it makes you happy. Like I'm of the opinion that
really
they should
cool.
go frog. No, I'm kidding. But that's what really matters to you. Those guys, what matters to them is being able to send their kids to really private school, like expensive private schools, being able to afford a house in a place that's extremely expensive. That they find, that's what they think is successful life looks like.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm saying that those people are shit cunts. I hate them so much.
Yeah.
Especially because
It's
I
fair,
kind
dude.
of as when John Barraro was saying, isn't the whole point of politics to pork barrel? That is a fair interpretation of what politics is. There is no fair interpretation of saying the point of journalism is to cover for corrupt politicians because it makes you rich.
Yeah. It's kind of like, yeah, it's it's kind of worse because it's allowing it to happen. I mean, you said it pretty well in I think it was the yours and ours thing of just being like, you know, the joke about like the mind being like, thanks from the back end, you know, like it's kind of the arm of the propaganda arm of the you know, it's worse because at least he's saying that, you know, it's kind of in a way
he's
it's
too
honest.
dumb to realize that that's probably something that shouldn't be said publicly.
No, but it's actually, in a way, it's cool because it's like, dude, yeah, he's being honest about it. And like the people at Sydney Morning Herald or whatever are not, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the most infuriating part about it all.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I completely agree with you. It's like, and it's cool that I think you're the only person in the country, and Michael West, right? Like, it just doesn't seem to be, yeah.
Prawny.
Oh, of
Prawny.
course, on his
And
fucking
of course, Paul Murray live on Sky News at 9 p.m.
yeah, of course. And Prawny with his hit show from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. regional. Or whatever the fuck it is.
Yes.
Isn't he getting big?
Yeah, he is.
Bullshit.
Yeah, at a meme value. He's pretty, and he should be because it's pretty much David Kosh
No,
radio.
He is good.
Just in case
why-
Sunrise
more
wasn't
oily
obscure
version
enough.
of-
Do you think he's swaying the boom, shake booms?
Yeah, I think that he's getting I think that he was starting to build an audience off of the back of me of older people that listen to me.
Okay.
And I think that that's a good thing to counter the 2GB giant, that he's
Yeah.
there at least telling it like it is.
True,
Instead
true.
of just regurgitating what the Murdoch talking points are for
Yeah,
that
yeah.
day. But look, as we have shown, 9 Fairfax, at least to us, and I truly do think that generally for society, 9 Fairfax is way worse than the Murdoch press. And at least the Murdoch press is boss. They're kind of like, if you double cross us, we will beat your fucking head in. Whereas 9 Fairfax is just a bunch of whiny private school kids sitting there dobbing on you. That's their job. Prefects that were saying, yes, Jacob didn't wear a tie today.
Yeah.
Worse just on that level. But if you zoom out, they have been much more aggressive in trying to take us down than the Murdoch press has. Because I think that the Murdoch press more or less sits there and admires the balls.
And they
But
used to-
I think
yeah, the Murdoch
that
press would
the
like
other thing
fast
is that
forward, right?
We
Full
are
frontal.
just, like I personally like the politicians that the Murdoch press protects more than the politicians that 9 Fairfax protects. I think that the Wets are the worst part of the Liberal Party, and they deserve to have as much, ire and venom dumped on them as, I don't know, your Tony Abbotts. I truly do believe this. They're so much worse. The ones that say, oh, we believe in climate change. It's just so hard to do anything. Why? Because I want to stay in power.
Yeah.
It's just an extension of their ideology, which is of 9 Fairfax, which is no ideology. And I heard it in the Senate hearings. I was listening to Malcolm Turnbull talking about his experience with the Murdoch press, and they were saying, do you feel culpable for this, that when you were in the position to tighten regulation around media ownership, you loosened it? And he said, absolutely not. I think that it was important that there was a media empire that could rival the Murdoch press, that could make me look good. And that is exactly what's happened since Nine and Fairfax have merged. They have become a secondary Murdoch empire for the lame faction of the Liberals that don't even say base shit. Just sit there and tut-tut everything.
Right.
They've gone and just become this huge protection racket for the Berejiklians and the Matt Keens of the Liberal Party. And now that they own 2GB, before, when Ray Hadley was by himself, they kind of just let him run loose, and he was really damaging to to Malcolm Turnbull's prime ministership. Then, when the corruption scandal came out about Gladys Berejiklian, he was originally very critical, but he didn't go on about it for 2 years straight. He shut up about it about 2 days in, and that's because now his boss is Peter Costello. That's the shift that's happened. So I'm really glad that they are the ones attacking me, is what I'm saying in short. I think that it's much better that the Murdoch press is constantly going for Rudd. I want Nine Fairfax going for me.
Even like when I was reading the
Splits it.
we none of us have seen the 9 News clip because we can't find it. Tell us how to find it. We want to see it. But we did read the Australian. The one thing that was, well, Jordan's reaction was, well, why do you think that's surprising? But the thing that annoyed me the most about their reporting of the video and suing,
Synopsis.
they reported it like it is. They said, oh, he's being sued, blah, 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 threatened to get sued. But the entire discourse in the article was Jordan calls Bruz, he speaks in an Italian accent, which Bruz thinks is racist, and hence Bruz got annoyed, and now there's a suing thing. There is not a single mention about the actual substance, which is the environmental issues that surround all of this. That it's not that Jordan... You minus the environmental issue, Jordan doesn't care if he's Bruz, Mario, or whatever. So you should at least acknowledge it. That the entire focus and the entire beef with the deputy premier is not about the fact that he's Italian. That's a joke.
It's amazing that...
Well, that is secondary.
It's about the fact that his
Imagine
party...
if that was your cross to die on. Get Italians out of Australia. Fucking hell. Just insane.
But a person that doesn't know anything about the issue, when you read it, they would think that a YouTuber has an issue with the deputy premier because he's Italian.
They've skewed it. It's the magnifying glass thing, being like, look what he shared.
Well, I mean, Jordan's take was like, yeah, why would you be surprised? Why would they even mention it? But I was like, just...
You'd expect it.
Even just a little bit somewhere.
What would happen if you just if you never went for the angle of like, he's Italian or whatever, which I think is genius, but if you didn't do that, would it be the case that they just wouldn't even pick it up?
Yeah, of course.
They wouldn't
I
even
used to
ignore it.
rail about John Barraro destroying Kosciuszko National Park, and just in that one instance putting 27 species on the endangered list. Absolutely nothing. I made fun of him for being Italian. What the fuck? You fucker, I can't believe that shit. So now you've just realised, okay, that's your chink in the armour. I'm just going to pay you guys out for your ethnicity from now on, because it at least gets headlines that will then get people back to the point, which is that these fucks are getting rich by destroying Australia's unique ecosystems.
Fuck, dude,
at least it gets attention on it.
Yeah, fuck, it's so depressing.
Whatever. I'll take that cross.
It's so ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry, but like, what are they called? Like, Jordan's favorite show, Auntie Donna. There's a lot of Italian. It's like, I'm gonna make a pizza. We're Croatian. I'm fully Croatian. Like, sorry, you're really grasping.
Wait, do you
at
look
straws.
down on him because he's a halfie?
Yeah, look, Scots are pretty tough, But I'll pay that. He's not like he's not Anglo. But it's just like come on, dude. Like, is it what if an Italian pays out another Italian? Is that right? It's just ridiculous.
It's the constant deflection, and
but it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, but
what about Fat Pizza? Do you watch Fat Pizza and go, call the police? It's doing an accent, and it's called Fat Pizza. This is so dumb. So dumb.
But I think that up until now, that has been their go-to strategy for character assassination. It's always, okay, let's look into sex scandals. No sex scandals. Let's look at something that they've said. have they said anything that we can construe as being racist or sexist? Oh my God, there they are. But they don't understand this point. You live in a universe where politicians are scared of saying anything except for opening up a road in their electorate. But I live in a universe where if you accuse someone of being racist, bam, 400,000 views. It's really beneficial to me to sit there and skerrick through everything that I've ever said in my life and then put the worst light possible on it. It only helps to draw attention to the things that I'm trying to draw attention to. And on top of that, like 9 today, I was on the plane, so I couldn't have done it anyway. But I go out, and somebody who was doing a story for 9 said, yeah, we're doing a report today. We'll let you talk on it. What's a good time for you? Expecting, like all politicians would have, oh, fuck, I get to be on national news. Dude, 9 News to me is another YouTube channel. It's a different way of looking at it, and I don't want to collab with you.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair,
With Peter Overton. I love that.
Oh, well, you know, I'm only human.
I love that. I saw on a bus the Peter Overton thing. It was something like getting to the behind the news, the real source that you'll get nowhere else. Who the fuck are you fooling, dude?
I know.
Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Who
Don't
else
even try.
will report to you what the price of petrol was today? Your dad? Probably.
But we have our eye on the sky. A fucking helicopter, not even a truck that's usually late. What the fuck, dude? Like, can you like stop insulting the population with that? Like, stop insulting everyone. Stop assuming everyone's that fucking stupid, you know?
Yeah, look, they don't understand this point. I have my own news program now. I don't need to try and make myself look good in an interview that is designed to be hostile towards me.
Dang,
it doesn't benefit
bump that.
me. All that's going to happen is you mention me. I'm just going to rip apart exactly what like your actual intentions and motives were.
The old
it's
model's
not going
gone.
to benefit you.
Yeah, the old model's gone where it's just like,
There's
you've
two
got
things
4 minutes, and if you one eye glance wrong, your career is over. And it's not that.
Jordan's basically, he looks to me like he's Jim Carrey from the Truman Show that's just realized, hey, this guy's a wall. I'm not playing this game anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you are right. That's the best way to do it.
No, you know what it is? We thought he was Jim Carrey from the Truman Show, but he's actually Jim Carrey on Man on the Moon. What's that guy's name?
What is his name?
The comedian. I forget.
Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on from this because we've talked about it plenty. The next segment is people want to know about the situation in India. And before we get into this, I want to preface it
I better move over
by
to Jordan for this
giving I think a lot of the reporting of the India COVID catastrophe is slightly misguided because there is another aspect that needs to be looked at. So there is no doubt that India is the cases, the need for medical assistance is just off the chart. It's doomsday scenario over there. But the other
Because it's Donald Trump if he was running a third world country.
It's Donald Trump, but it's more than that. It's not Donald Trump because it's not the US. When we look at India now, particularly when someone looks at the stats, they look at, India, the third richest economy in the world after China and the US. India, IPL contracts are $3 million. India is a fairly wealthy country. So we put them in the same metric as we would places like the UK when the cases went up. Here's a bit of a reality check, and I'm not trying to put down, but it's important to know this. Before the pandemic, every public hospitals, there were 0.55 ventilators for every 100 people.
Whoa.
That, from the beginning, is horrible. So yes, the COVID situation has gotten worse, but it's also in a country that has severely malnourished its health sector for ages. The success story of India, or the shining India success story, is super privatized. The wealth hasn't flowed the same way as it has in countries like in Australia or even China.
Do they have public hospitals?
They do have public hospitals, but they are severely malnourished.
Yeah.
Pandemic or no pandemic. They have never, and same goes for countries like Pakistan. We're basically just brothers. We have severely neglected health education throughout our history. And countries like India, the onus is on them more because they were in a situation where they were growing rapidly. But their health funding has always been abysmal. Even today, after the pandemic, there are calls to allocate 2.5% of the budget to the health sector, which is being considered crazy. It's insane. Do you know how much we spend on our health sector?
Isn't it like
How
a
much
third?
we spend a lot of money. It's close. It's
much?
around 6 to 7% at this point.
Not a third.
And it's growing. And they don't prioritize it. They never have, Modi or no Modi. Even the idea, and then here's a flip side of India. Then there are private hospitals which charge exorbitant amounts of money. And you know what? They do have oxygen. You just need to be able to afford it. And most Indians are poor, so they can't afford
India
it.
is like really harshly capitalist, like old school.
India is harshly capitalist. It has become... The thing was, it was quasi-socialist until the 90s, and it wasn't earning enough money. Then in the 90s, they did some economic reforms, and they became a lot more capitalist. But unlike what I would say was the Chinese model, where they utilized those funds into public sector, India never really did that. India just made a parallel economy where the private sector just started going insane, where you've got people like Ambanis that live in India that have the richest, or Adani for that matter, that are probably would compare to any billionaire in US, China, or UK, or Australia. But on the same, the most expensive house in the world is right on top of a slum. That India hasn't even attempted to negotiate with that issue. Anyway,
The LA of India.
But worse than LA, because the US hasn't done it the way India has. The US has invested money into the US spends more money on their healthcare system per capita than any other country in the world, including us.
What?
Yes. So the
Yeah,
US,
but that's a scam.
it may be, but still,
Contracts, right?
there are a lot more per person per 100 ventilators in the US than there are in
So what you're
in
saying
India.
is it was like a cluster bomb waiting to go off with something like COVID.
I'm just saying, even pre-pandemic, it was a serious concern.
Gotcha.
Now it's just insane. It's
What are the numbers?
the numbers of people that are dying.
It's really
Yeah.
bad, eh?
Well, we don't even know the numbers because
Yeah, of course you
journalists, they're saying it's about 3,000 people or 4,000 people or something every day.
Dying.
Yeah, but then
Damn.
you look at the independent journalists on the ground. They go to hospitals and they tally the numbers of people that have died from COVID, and they go to the cremation spots, and the numbers don't add up. There's way more people dying. They went to a hospital and asked the person that records all of this, "Why do you think that is?" And he's like, "I'm not surprised at all because most people are dying at home." Do you know why? Most people can't even afford to even go to the public hospital because the
And they don't have
logistics
the
of
room.
it. They don't have the room. They're just dying outside.
Apparently they're cremating people in the streets, and they're just like,
Yeah, they're
"There's not
making
enough
makeshift
streets. There's not enough streets."
crematoriums.
Damn. It's like Black Death.
It is
Yeah.
like Black Death in a place that is never was equipped to handle such a thing.
But wait a sec, can I just ask? I thought COVID, in terms of globally, this was my ignorance, but I thought that it was kind of subsiding everywhere. It was even in America. It was like they were curbing it because it was really bad in America.
Maybe it just took a lag time to third world countries because there's not as many flights and not many people go there.
I don't know. Well,
No,
So
I
their
know.
populations are a bit more contained.
What happened was that
because is that not
when the
case?
first wave came, this is okay. So now is the incompetence of the current Indian government that comes into the. When the first wave came, India went into one of the harshest lockdowns ever witnessed at that particular time. Later on, we saw lockdowns, but
That's sick, isn't it?
Yeah.
well, it's not sick for a country where
That
I
are
wouldn't say
sick.
most of the people, but a fair number of people depend on
How'd you
daily
go?
wages.
Sorry.
There were laborers that worked daily, and then you impose this harsh lockdown. Do you know people?
Yeah,
there
so
was
they
this
didn't have
exodus.
any JobKeeper.
No fucking job
nothing.
keeper
Oh,
whatsoever.
dude,
but there was
That's
an
actually very
exodus.
surprising.
There was an exodus of labor going from cities back to their villages. People assume that that's because the lockdown and they were instructed to do it. No. They were afraid of getting sick in the cities.
Oh my
because they were like, if we get sick over here, who the fuck is going to afford medical care? So they would rather go back to their village to essentially die. That's what they were. They were like,
I
okay,
thought that they just listened to Bill Maher's new rule and saying, you know what is really good for COVID? Going outside.
And put down the burger. You.
So this strategy,
Hey, do you think that, sorry, just as a quick side note, do you think that if India, instead of increasing its budget that it spends on health to 2.5%, they instead put that money into health programs? Sorry, not health care, but kind of just like, did you know that broccoli is good for you?
Dude, the Indians are vegetarians.
Yeah, but they just eat dal.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a huge fan of dal.
and a lot of
But-
potatoes.
Oh yeah, that's not very nutrition.
No, I think that
Yeah.
you can increase the budget.
It's nature's chips, but that's still chips.
You can increase the budgets in terms of social. So they do have a social program of sort, which is a step in the positive direction, which they called Swachh Bharat, which I think means clean India, because again, India. Sure, it's the third richest country in the world, but it's also the country that has a huge open defecation issue, which causes diseases every year on its own right.
Really?
See, that's what I'm saying. If you're that poor, I really don't think that the answer is more ventilators and CAT scans.
No, it's a
No,
subs-
you
you're gonna
definitely
get it.
need ventilators. In a pandemic, you need it.
Yeah,
No,
you
but
definitely need
it's
them,
a
but can you
cultural
afford
shift.
them? You're
But
India.
It's a cultural shift. You know what's a great, and you'll find this interesting. I read this actually. It was about the in Atomic Habits, a book I read, and it was an example about Pakistan. There was a
You're from there, aren't
That's
they?
where you're from. There
That's-
was no, it is. Don't
And
buddy.
also, you read that book. Your friend Ali is not from India.
Yeah. Hey, Miss Love, your friend Ali. Oh, this book's really speaking to me. There was a doctor that went over to. You'd know about this, I'm sure. That went because it was talking about the psychological effects of small changes in small changes like cultural changes. So like not about logical changes or whatever, just like a cultural phenomenon in terms of like making something popular and giving it a marketing effect, and then it sticks in your mind. Because apparently in the 90s, a doctor went over to Pakistan and like no one was washing their hands with soap, and they couldn't make the majority of people start using soap in the bathrooms and stuff.
And they can't make me use so.
And then they managed to number 2 only most of the time.
Spoiler
Wink, wink.
alert: they're still unsuccessful.
No, but apparently
That's not the case.
no,
Actually, they're
apparently, he managed to basically endorse some celebrities of the time and make it more culturally cool to wash your hands with soap, and then like 80% of like gastric diseases gone and dropping just because the way that they tapped into the psychology of like a habit, and he did that.
Prevention is good, but like what I'm saying is these
But that's
problems
huge,
are
right?
much bigger than this was. This is pre-pandemic world where you're supposed to do this. Right now, their management has because their priorities are wrong. Their priorities when the pandemic came, India's concern wasn't how the fuck do I vaccinate 1.3 billion people. You know what they were thinking of? Ooh, we're the pharmacy for the world. We'll start exporting vaccines to third world to other countries, and that way we can get influence. We can combat China over there. Their priorities are wrong.
That's not going to work.
You need to fucking fix your own public
right.
first. You need to understand how big of a threat you are in.
Wait, they're the vaccine capital of the world.
Yeah, it's the pharmacy capital of the world.
What?
They produce all kinds of medicines that get exported to the rest of the world. In fact, there's a huge problem now because Angela Merkel recently came out and said we need to rethink this because India is now ravaged with COVID. They clearly need vaccines, but there were contracts for vaccines all over the world that were supposed to come from India.
They're not capable.
No, they are still capable, but like there is a huge ethical issue
ethical,
where do I give vaccine to literally the person that is dying next to me or send it off to Germany because we have contractual obligations? And Germany's point of view is, and it's very selfish, but it is, they were saying like, I understand, but if we're going to make you the capital, the pharmacy capital of the world, you need to have your shit together.
Yeah.
Is basically their point.
So it's kind of
that
like
you can't be that fucked up, and we still expect you. We've put all our eggs in one basket. So there's this whole rethinking. In fact, there's now issues with Indian foreign policy, India and the U.S., which were coming together as this like this coalition along with Australia and Japan as like the ones that are supposed to guide the 21st century. There's already rifts between Indian relations with the U.S. because India, when this happened. Even before it got extremely public, they quietly called the US and said, hey, look, this is a pretty bad situation. You have a lot of AstraZeneca vaccines that you're not even using because most of the American population has now been vaccinated. And there are even holes on AstraZeneca because they use Pfizer and other ones. So like, can you give them to us? And the response by the Americans were like, oh, sorry, these vaccines are made for US citizens. And even their press secretary came out and they said, sorry, these vaccines, and there was a legal reason because when Trump sanctioned these vaccines, he said it needs to be used for U.S. But that India was like really shell shocked by that response because they were like, hey, what about the fact that we're coalition members? We share same values. We were together going to fight wars and stuff.
Would Biden have allowed them to use the vaccines
later as damage control? But India is already pissed off by this. They're rethinking their U.S. foreign policy because they're like, if I can't depend on you at the worst time possible, then I don't know if we can... Look, the geopolitical factors are such that they'll still stay together, at least for the time being, but this has caused a strain in India's relationship with the U.S. And I think India needs to understand that you can't be like this global geopolitical player and get prominence that way. You need to first get your house in order. You need to first be in a situation where you are strong enough, your institutions are strong enough to be able to withstand all of this, then you go elsewhere. You can't be poor and take over the world. You have to first get rich and then take over the world. And so the current Indian government is more interested in foreign policy objectives of how we can do this to China or how we can form a coalition with the US, how we can send vaccines to like, Bangladesh and then get their promise. Their priorities are completely wrong. And Modi is so... the governance skills are so bad. Like I was saying, there was this massive lockdown, which backfired because you can't do a massive strict lockdown in a country where most of the population depends on daily wages. Are you going to get people to starve?
That's true.
And so he did that. That backfired. Then he was like, okay. We're not going to do any of that. And so when this new one came, they were propagating that, we've reached herd immunity, we'd be fine. And they just fucking went into utter collapse.
Shit.
You know what else? He probably still going to win the next election in a landslide.
I don't know, but
Really?
he did. Funnily enough, this is how idiotic the government is. That while India was going through this, there were elections happening at the same time in a state called the state of Bengal, and Modi lost by a 2/3 majority.
Is he supposed to lose?
He not by a 2/3 majority.
So what is
They were saying that he might win, but he was the one who kept going. They were like, no, we'll have elections. He allowed
So he's in or
several
out?
of these holy and Hindu festivals where like not hundreds of thousands, millions of people congregate. It's the largest religious festival in the world. It's bigger than the Muslim pilgrimage. And they were like, yeah, in a pandemic, well, sure, just go for it.
Shit.
So is it at the stage where everyone has it now?
Yeah, they're the other thing that
So
they
it pales in comparison to, say, Britain.
yes.
Because there was a point I remember where in London, they were turning people away from hospitals.
Right.
And people that were sick were getting in cabs with people that weren't sick and going home. So the situation is far more dire in India, which now that I say it out loud, that's not surprising at all. Sorry, continue.
Can I
But I'm
just
just, it's just like,
Can I
it's
just ask?
scary to think that there's a scenario that's much worse than Britain's.
Yeah.
The other thing is, the Indian. There are a few like we knew about the UK variant. There's a few variants. Everyone knows about like the Brazilian, and there's the Indian one.
I didn't know about
We
that.
don't know a lot.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
variants
that's
also.
not surprising. either.
There's South African one. But what we don't know
I
if
know where
the
that's from.
Indian variant is more lethal.
Oh,
But what we
God.
know is that it's way more contagious. So
I don't like
in the first wave, someone in the family would get a positive COVID result. Most of the people in the family would not get COVID positive. Now everyone in the family is COVID positive.
Fuck.
So it's spreading at a much faster.
Can I ask, what about the surrounding countries? What about Pakistan? Like,
All of them are bad, but Pakistan is better.
why is that just borders?
I don't know the answer
His
to
prime
that. I
minister's
wish
better.
No, that's not. the
It's
case.
borders.
I don't
It's borders.
know
You're not
the
even allowed
answer
in
to it.
Pakistani's not allowed in India.
For one, Pakistan has taken what they call them, the SOPs, but like wearing masks and stuff slightly more seriously. Like right now, how funny is this? Some of the people in Pakistan that weren't following the orders, they've got the military to patrol the streets and just be like, you need to do this.
Russian style.
And if you don't, then you've got to do push-ups or some shit.
Yes! How's that going to solve shit?
Well, you
I
can't
don't
put
know,
them
but it
in
just
jail
works in
for
India.
it.
Huh?
You can't put that. It happens in India too, but Pakistan is
I
slightly
swear.
more serious about it. But again, I don't know. Same thing happens with Pakistan.
What about, like, Nepal?
Poorly equipped that if the infections go the way India is, it will also be in a state of catastrophe.
Really? What about Nepal? Because Nepal borders India, right?
Yeah, they're all kind of bad, but the problem is that India is just huge. The scale of everything is much larger over there.
Just
Nepal is a
population.
small country.
Just
Yeah, it's
population.
close to what, 18%
Are they still
of
doing
the
the flag
population?
ceremony?
Well, I don't know what they're doing anymore, but I think it's too late to do anything now. What they really need to be just doing is
What the hell's the
straight up damage control, and hopefully they learn from this that they need to prioritize healthcare a lot more. But yeah, things are pretty bad, and you feel for them. But I just like the whole sort of the narrative in Australia is like, oh, look how bad COVID is, and it's ravaged the country. Yeah, COVID is bad, but the country was also it's hard to say it at this point because they are down, but they needed to do it a lot better, and not now. Like they should have been doing it for the last 25 years.
You could say the same thing to a way less degree about America, where Trump was. I mean,
You
I know.
couldn't. That's what I'm saying. That's a false equivalency. America,
Right,
it could go bad in America, but America is well equipped.
Yeah, right.
They have catered. By most standards, they're well equipped, just like we are.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. But you can kind of say the same thing in Australia. That's really what happened in our hospital system as well. That they've just been stripping it bare for the last 9 years, and we would have been much better equipped if they did not. The exact same things are happening, I guess, globally, which is that the public sector is slowly dissipating.
Right.
And I suppose it's just going to be way worse in a country like India. It is the case of the world, though.
And in particular for Australia, my criticism is the whole debate right now is the Australian government evil for banning Indians from coming at a time of catastrophe? That's a whole debate all together. But what we should really be talking about is why is the Australian government a year on, now we should blame ourselves too. Why a year on from the pandemic, why do we still not have a decent quarantine facility? Right now, people are like, a lot of people just be like, oh, it's evil and everything. I know it is, but at the same time, I also understand how infectious this strain is. I also understand that 50% of the people in quarantine facilities are now coming with COVID. So I empathize, but I think the focus should not be on is the government evil or not. The focus should be on how incompetent is our government that we still don't have a decent quarantine facility. We shouldn't have been in this position where we have to ban people. That's something we need to look, we need to look at ourselves.
Approach. It's too easy for people to be like, that's evil. That's good. That's evil. That's evil. That's good. That's evil. It's so dumb.
6 months ago.
Well, at least they mulled over one of the evil ones.
But 6 months ago, Queensland Premier Palaszczuk, 6 to 7 months ago, started suggesting publicly that, hey, these hotel quarantine options was a makeup option. But we really need to be setting up a proper facility. And I remember Scott Morrison was laughing at her. He said, well, try to convince your people to do it, or try to convince the other premiers to do it. Bitch, what's your job? You are supposed to be convincing her. She's saying something that's actually legitimate. We are also incompetent. Maybe not as incompetent as the Indian government is, but we're not that great either.
No. It's just that there's more wealth here, so it's easier for people. And the other thing is, if you're wealthy, you don't just pray to Vishnu that you don't get it. Yeah. And again, I suppose Scott Morrison did do that, and he is wealthy. Yeah. But the average person, if they have enough wealth and enough resources, they know basic steps that they can take.
And our population,
as opposed to just being like, yeah, well, the festival, John, I'm not going to go.
Yeah, and then obviously our population is a fucking minuscule compared to India, so that's obviously a fucking massive component.
And in my view, is still too high.
Too big, mate. Take that to the bank. No, look, it's all very concerning, and I don't know. I mean, what the fuck do you even say to that? Like, I don't even.
There's nothing you can do.
This pandemic will eventually get over. Eventually, things will go back to normal, however long it takes, 2 years, 3 years. And I'm hoping that once we hit that point where things go back to normal, I hope that all of our governments, including the Indian government, looks at themselves a little bit and prepare themselves, not just for another pandemic, but just giving their citizens a quality life. Spend less on Rafael jets and trying to colonize the Indian Ocean, and spend more on health and education.
Well, that's not going to happen.
I hope it will. I hope it will.
How do you know?
Because, dude, it's Modi.
I don't know anything about
He's so
Modi.
lame.
Is he?
Yeah.
What's his vibe? I don't know anything about him.
You know what it is? Uncharismatic, dumb, medieval Trump.
Oh, damn.
Don't you think?
That's
it's
rough.
Just Donald Trump with none of the redeeming factors.
Yeah, he's like a Hindu nationalist.
Right.
Well, at least he believes in something.
Yeah.
As opposed to Trump just being like, I did make Trump steaks, damn it. That's what I believe in.
And they were tasty. Fuck. Well, yeah. I'm definitely gonna look into that. I mean, I did know about it, but
Carl, what's his name? Carl
Stefanovic. Yeah.
Stefanovic. He got into a live brawl with Scott Morrison over this issue.
Really? What he was like?
Such a Carl thing to do. But go on.
Basically, Carl was saying it's really unfair that you've banned Australians from coming here, and Scott Morrison was saying that we've based it on like risk perception, blah blah blah. No one ever mentioned like why you aren't prepared for it.
Yeah. Again, it's probably at this
and Scott
position
Morrison
a
did
good
say
move because we don't have the facilities. It's like being like, you know what I mean? It's like being like, it's like if you had this preemptive measure, it would all be fine. But you're too incompetent to have it, so yeah, this is probably the best move now. But it's not a congratulations.
Well, that's an explosive
is it?
opinion at the moment because there's a lot of people upset about the banning of Indians because there's like 9,000 Australians that are currently in India, including cricketers.
Yeah, but if you've got no quarantine base, what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do?
We do have a quarantine base, but I think, look...
It's called the Ruby Princess.
I am...
Just off the shore.
I'm guessing
It's not a bad idea, actually.
that the risk perception of the number crunchers that advised the chief medical officer said that if we allow it, there is a risk that it will seep into the community. And from what we can gather from the data that we have from India, that if it goes out, it's going to be a lot harder to contain it because it's way more infectious.
Yeah, well,
so it's that. Then there is another opinion that no, we should be fine. We should be able to cater for them. I don't know the facts.
Should be, but
it's risky, dude.
Yeah,
like
we couldn't even do it when there was a couple of Germans in Victoria.
I don't think Carl will be as happy if he gets that strain.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, what if it was you, Carl?
Think about it.
You clearly haven't.
But Scott Morrison did say something that made Scott Morrison did say something that made Carl go. Scott Morrison.
Sorry.
Scott Morrison was saying how Carl was saying this is unprecedented that you just ban people from coming in, citizens coming in, and Scott Morrison was, well, I did with the China too, when the Wuhan crisis first started. And that's true. The other thing is, for people saying it's unprecedented, there's one example. Then the other example was ISIS brides. You know, all the women that went to Syria and Iraq to fight. Technically, their husbands may have committed crimes.
Right.
They could have been taken there out of force. We don't know. We need to like try them to find out if they are guilty.
They weren't let back.
But we didn't let them come in. So it's not that unprecedented. I don't know if it's the best move either. So I don't want to like say I'm on the side of the Liberal Party on this. They know what the risk perceptions are.
It sounds pretty fucking serious. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a stupid.
Things in India are not fun right now. I like so many people that I know, my brother knows, who's like, yeah, my dad has COVID. My auntie died from COVID. Like everyone has, every fucking person has someone from the immediate family member that has it.
Fuck. Dang.
It's insane.
I wonder what would happen if it got to North Sentinel Island.
Where's that?
Dude, that would kill all of them.
Where's that?
That's the island of uncontacted people that apparently are a little more contacted than we thought.
Right. Shit.
And the only people that do contact them are Indians. So there must be their version of Scott Morrison right now just being like, that's it, no more waving at that fishing boat.
Fuck.
But you think that it'd kill everyone there?
Yeah.
I wonder what their quarantine strategy would be.
There's like
voodoo.
Aren't there like 10 people there? I guess just like give them a room.
I think there's 250.
Jeez. That's a big population.
But I'm guessing COVID.
It'd be really interesting to see how uncontacted tribes handle COVID.
They wouldn't handle it. I don't know, actually. Either it would be really good or they'd actually be okay because they're obviously...
they won't be. They have no immunity. They haven't been contacted by the rest of us.
But I feel like they...
Even without COVID, they would die.
Make the tough decisions that we all want our leaders to do, i.e. bash the old chick over the head with a rock.
But the thing is, they live healthy. Like they don't eat like
but they don't have those immunities that you have being from a community.
But surely there's a certain
has
level.
interacted with the rest of the
but do
world.
we have immunities to COVID?
Yeah,
isn't that why?
No,
it's
we don't
a
have
big
immunities
deal?
to COVID. But they don't have immunity to anything. They don't even have immunity to most flus.
You know what's the first fucking barrier against like fighting infectious diseases?
I have immunity to COVID. Just saying.
Yeah, well, or he left.
Hey,
dementia.
hell yeah. Time to make contact with North Sentinel.
No, dude. The first like the battlefront of like
Have you
defeating
heard of
disease.
Allah?
Defeating infectious
And they'd be
disease.
like, yes, I listen to Speaker every fucking day, you asshole.
Yeah, turn it down. Anyway,
Go on.
having a good immune system and eating like well is a good way to fight.
No,
infectious
it's for
disease.
sure. But like,
so,
look,
I think they'd be fine. They'd be better off.
I understand that. That's true for all of us.
Yeah.
But less so for uncontacted tribes.
I don't know if it would be. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No. When because their cousins or closest relatives that are on islands that are close by, I can't remember what they're called, the Jawanese. I just remember that they have a very similar name to those little people in hoods in Star Wars that are trying to junk C-3PO.
Yeah.
It was like, get off me, get off me.
Like, yeah, they're cool.
They pretty much are dying for the same reason, which is just what happens in colonization, that even when you're trying to be nice to the people like the Indian government somewhat is all those diseases just go straight through their communities and kill them all off.
I guess you're right then.
It's best for
But
them.
I want to know what their quarantine procedure is for something that they don't know exists.
Yeah, Jesus.
They don't have a quarantine.
Isn't it weird that the
stupid.
whole world for the last year has completely stopped, except on North Sentinel? It's been exactly the
I
same.
think it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's kind of cool. Finally, some poetic justice, you know?
For what?
For them just being like, we were right. You don't need iPhones, you know?
Now, the next question. What is an iPhone?
Well, you know what I'm saying? There's advantages to living on a small, isolated island.
Well,
Off the
recently
land.
I was just at some baller's mansion. I was looking at it and thinking, fuck, this is the peak
Kevin
of
Ross.
civilization. Yeah, it was a mad house, but at the same time I was just thinking, probably would be better just walking through a forest and killing a pig.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone knows that. It's just that you want the esteem and you want to leave, a legacy and make something of yourself, whatever that means. But I know that when everyone gets to 60, they're like, I just want to grow tomatoes, you know?
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, hard facts. I think that I'd be much more proud of making a ceramic bowl that took me 3 days on fire that wasn't hot enough to do it.
Definitely. Anyway, should we close out on memeing my friend's bird page?
Yeah. Let's
Oh,
do
and
that.
also I need to close out on memeing myself.
You
But
do that. No, you do
That
that
camera has
first.
stopped working for some reason. So
That's the camera that I need.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna have to move to your seat, miss. But you
That's
go
fine.
on.
Okay, well, let's just do this quickly. So, this is just something for you to do for me. So, a friend of mine, she's like really lovely, she's like a really polite, lovely English lady, and she's a fiance of my best mate. Anyway, anyway, she has a bird photography Instagram page, and it's mad. And she's like, I think it's good, but I haven't got many followers. I'm like, well, I have a large audience, so let's see if we can fix that. So anyone watching, what are numbers? We're up there with numbers. Okay, I just want you to go and follow her page. That's it. And maybe you can do like hashtag Brighton for life. I think that'll scare her adequately enough. Because she was like, don't do it. No, I'll have to post more. It's too much pressure. And I'm like, sometimes you need a bit of a push. So go on fluffy_avems. So FLUFFY_AVEMS. Personal blog, Birds of Australia and perhaps beyond. And
Well, that's a bit of a tease.
yeah. And I want to get her 1,000.
Yes.
Can we get her to 1,000, please?
Having not seen this Instagram page, I'm imagining Birds of Australia is one
show me.
photograph
Let me
of a
give
pigeon.
it.
Well, that's just
my
a-
seal of approval.
That's just a photo. Do you want me to find the real one? That's just a photo. Here, I'll find.
Find me the page.
Okay,
Let's
okay.
do a quick review. Let's see if it's even
All
worth
right.
it.
No,
or
it
not.
is. She's good. Hold on. Yeah.
And then once you're
There
done,
you
with, okay.
Real film. None of this digital shit.
Hey man, this is actually a good page.
I'll show Jordan. But you know why I want to do it? You know, really polite, lovely English people
this
that
is
are
a nice
talented,
page.
and they do that whole thing of like, oh no, I couldn't possibly do that. Like the nicest person ever. It's like, no, that's silly. I can't. I don't want to be a bother.
All I can do is wear cardigans.
Yeah, just totally just sort of like, I don't want to be a bother.
It is. It's a picture of an Indian miner. First shot. That's why you need to sign up.
I'm just like, she's like, I don't want to be a bother. I'm like, no, you do want to be a bother. I want you to get to 1,000. You're a fucking legend. I want you to get up there. You need the followers. I'm sick of it.
I'll follow her.
Yeah.
What a
I actually
wholesome
genuinely liked your page.
Instagram page instead of, do you want to see my roided arse?
I know.
Yes, I do, but I also want to see birds.
Yeah. So guys, please, can we get her to 1,000? And if you want to write something, just say she's from Brighton. So be like hashtag Brighton life. Don't be mean because she's such a sweet, lovely person. And she didn't want me to do this. She was like, no, I don't want honestly, don't do it. Anyway, I've got some scones for you. I'm like, nah, sorry, I'm doing it. You're too nice. It's happening.
Yep. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
And it's also great that the next page down from this is Flume.
Second
The second
biggest
most visited Instagram page of Miss Loves.
Fuck, what? That does not make sense.
Are you releasing tasty tunes? This is a troubling time for us all.
Anyway, one more time. Fluffy Avems. Maybe that's why not many people are following it, Lucy, because I don't know what the fuck that means. But yeah, you got it. Fluffy Avems. Just that's not going to work. But what are they saying? Are they going to do it? No, not Avens.
Why couldn't we?
Fluffy AVEMS.
Yeah, look, they're still talking about what we were speaking
Oh, for
about
fuck's sake.
before.
Fluffy_Avems. But it's just going to... I think it's already...
Done.
It's already
done.
going up. Yeah, it's going up right now. It's going up in real time, 227. It was like 130 something. It's going up right now.
Holy shit! That's
Whoa.
That's like...
Now that's power.
Hey, you guys rule. And yeah, if you want to write something, just write Brighton Life. Don't be mean. She's like an absolute champ. I just think... And for me, it'll be a funny joke because just seeing her being like, I can't believe... No, you... I'm getting the scones is going to make me personally really happy, you know?
Well, I'm
And
glad
I'm really
that's
happy that
page,
you
'cause I do
are
like
a
it.
kingmaker of Instagram. And have
Alan
already given
Jones.
him more followers than Forrest Hall the band has. Isn't that amazing? You're so good at everything except self-promotion.
I'm such a dick. Feel free to follow Forrest Hall.
No, unfollow Forrest.
Unfollow.
Follow.
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right, switch
No,
seats.
don't unfollow
Yes.
Forrest Hall. I need the
You had your plug. You wasted it, Miss Love.
Fuck.
Switch
One
seats.
a year. No Forest Hall, just Fluffy Avems. Like one time I could fucking promote my band. I was like, no chance.
Unfollow Forrest Hall.
Unfollow Forrest
no,
Hall.
no,
Follow that
please.
Fluffy Birds. And if you miss having music in your Instagram page, follow Flume. Give him a go.
Yeah. Thanks.
He needs it.
Flume needs it. The guy living in a mansion in LA for like. That guy needs it. Fuck Forrestal.
All right, switch seats because you need that camera. For
Yeah,
something.
jump on. Hey, good job. 250 already. This is.
How many did she have before?
138.
Holy shit, she's gonna have a very, very
Dude, that's
interesting
gonna,
morning.
I hope I get a message because that's gonna be really good.
All right, Jordan, that's your camera. Whatever you want to say.
This one?
Yeah,
Dude, say it like hot ones. That camera.
Not
Tell
just-
us what you got going on in your life.
But it's just that camera.
Just that camera. Especially seeing as that camera doesn't work. What's new at Friendlyjordies? That camera is also the worst camera imaginable. It's one that you would have gotten as a birthday present in year 8.
Hey, I bought it with my heart. Do you know who bought it
Year
for
8
me?
money.
That camera was brought to me by Clive Palmer. True story. All right, go.
Well, I have a special announcement for you. Gather round, yon boys and girls. If you would like to be an editor for your old pal Friendlyjordies, we have an opening. That camera. And that is why I need an editor, because I definitely need another one to join the family. And by join the family, I mean I'm probably not going to talk to you ever in your entire life. I'll have someone liaising with you, possibly Christo, who will come over to your house and hand over dumps of Miss Loves just scouring through, I'm assuming, MasterChef, and getting my response of, yeah, that looks pretty good. And you will be continuing the wheel that is the most vital news service in the country. And so I'm saying that your country needs you if you are from the Sydney area, and not this greater Sydney area. I don't want to hear anyone say, well, I'm from Gosford.
No Gosford allowed.
Yeah, no one from Gosford
Greater
allowed.
Sydney.
No Holsworthy allowed either.
And it tears me up inside.
Wait, I know this is all news. This is all new news to me, but like, can you afford another? We'll talk about that later.
No. But I'm taking a punt. I'm going to be giving you some part-time work here and there because I think that what the aim is to get to 5 videos a week, and you can be part of that. So here's what I want from you. You are going to edit me in the following clip. The next few things that I say, you are going to turn into a Friendlyjordies video, and you're going to send it through. And if you got chops,
Damn.
I'll move away because
This
I'm
is-
still in this camera.
This is sick.
I'll stay.
I feel like I'm one of those like old early jazz things where it's like, this is the show. If you impress Miles, you're in. You know.
it's the only way that you should get a creative job.
I like that. Yeah.
Isn't this so much better than, my mum works at the ABC? You're hired, kid.
Yeah.
Your mum's not talented. I assume you're not going to be either. Don't rock the boat.
Wait, the following words come now, right?
Yeah. Go on.
Following words are now. I don't know if this is widespread news, but I personally don't like Scott Morrison, or as I like to call him, Mr. Beanbag. Did you know that Scott Morrison recently bunged up COVID? It's true. Just ask me. Also, I think that this guy who's an expert in immunology also said something very similar. And I quote, Scott Morrison is not the best in the world at his job in protecting the Australian public. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Not just me, an expert said that. Therefore, I'm right, because that guy thinks that I'm correct. Anyway, let's move on to the next important piece of today. MasterChef. Look at that capsicum. Whoa, that's red. It reminds me of a baboon's ass. Let's look at what else they're cooking today. Oh, ice cream. You can't cook that. Nonetheless, I'll continue talking about it for another 10 minutes so that we can get the advertising rev and pay for your salary. Hey, make sure that you like, subscribe, and if you want to see more videos about MasterChef, how about you actually tell me that, because I would like to know, Twitch family. This is not part of it anymore. You can actually include this if you want to, but I am just genuinely curious. Should we treat MasterChef as maths? Anyway, thank you very much for your time. All right, that's what you're going to turn into a video.
Where did they send it to you?
You?
Send
Thank you so much. All right, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you.
Send it to podcast@friendlyjordies.com.
Also, come on, fluffy AVMs, get it up there. 261. We want more.
More. Okay, perfect. Thank you guys.
Fans with the idea of MasterChef.
No, MasterChef is dead.
I like
Clap.
Yeah.
By the way, did you write that, or did you just? Was that an impromptu speech?
Well, it is my entire job to just talk off the top of my head.
It's
I
pretty
am
impressive.
like Bomb Funk MC, free straight off the top of my dome. Was that actually impressive?
It was.
Because
I
I always
thought it
think that I'm a terrible speaker, and then people come up to me in real life and say, "Hey, you're better at doing public speeches than I am." Wow.
Well,
Just
do it professionally, but no, that was really good. That was actually really good.
Just quickly, the boyfriend of Lucy, whose page it is, who is the most polite person ever and has never sworn in her life, just messaged Mikey, her fiance, and said, quote, "What the fuck is happening to my phone?"
Yes!
Keep at it. We love that.
That's what I like to hear, and I really like the fact that you didn't use it to plug your own band. See you next year.
See you guys.